Hey everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. Well, it is, let's see, we've got one more day of July left, and that means today's video is going to be another July walkabout, but this is part two. Part two is going to take you into the raised bed garden, and stay tuned towards the end because we're going to go up into our 2-acre pollinator habitat. If you missed part one, I'll put it up on the screen, and I'll also create a link in the description below. You want to watch part one because part one, I took you on a tour around the house where we have lots of beautiful flower gardens and shrubs and trees and roses. So check out part one if you missed it, but part two is today. I get lots and lots of questions and comments and curiosities about our greenhouse. And so I think we'll start by going in there. I'll just show you what things are looking like in the greenhouse here in my mid-Missouri Zone 6 garden at the end of July. It is woo, hot, hot, hot here, just like many of you have been suffering through this tremendous heat. In the Midwest, especially in Missouri where I live, it is extremely humid. I think the dew point was pushing 90 degrees already this morning, and it is just 8 a.m. If that gives you a sense of the conditions that we grow in our hot and humid summers. But anyhow, so before we head into the greenhouse to see what I've got going on in there, I'm going to ask everybody to please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It really helps me meet more gardeners like you, and I appreciate those of you that are subscribers in all of your support in my YouTube channel. So anyhow, I think it's time for us to head inside the greenhouse. So you're going to see here right away my little screening. Do you see that? It's got magnets, best thing ever. So come on in and let me show you what is happening and tell you a little bit more about why we had to put that screening up. Well, gosh, I think it was probably about, I don't know, a month ago or so that I was coming in, and the little hummingbirds, of which we have many in our garden, they were getting caught inside here. They would come in through the open doorway, which we leave open in the summer, and they would stay up sort of in the rafters. And so I'd have to get over there and grab my little broom and gently try to coax them out. Didn't work very well. So my husband said, you know what, let's get a screen and put it up at the entrance. So I want to just share a few things about greenhouses. If you don't have a greenhouse, I was just like you for 38 years of my gardening journey, but I splurged a couple years ago and we purchased this beautiful Yoder-built greenhouse. They're manufactured in Arkansas. So I'll put a link to the Yoder-built greenhouse group in the description below in case anybody's curious about them. But anyhow, could not love my greenhouse more. Oh my gosh, you guys, it has completely changed the way I garden. It has allowed me to grow hundreds and hundreds of things from seed, saving us lots of money. And of course, you want to maybe take a look here and pan around a little bit. There's not a lot going on in here because in the middle of summer, it is 100 degrees in here, 90 degrees, 100 degrees. It is hot, hot, and too hot for most things. I use this the most when it's not summer. Actually, it will be full and full of new plants I've grown, plants I'm propagating. But anyhow, just real quick, over here is a little raised bed that we popped in here full of some herbs, and these are culinary herbs. So I've got rosemary and thyme and sage. I've got, of course, my beloved coleus. This was just a little cutting. It was about this big. I popped it in here about a month ago, and so it's sitting in here. So, you know, I use those herbs some, but not a lot. When I really use that herb box is in the winter. I can grow all kinds of herbs in here all winter long, and that's wonderful to have as a cook. And then, you know, I propagate a lot of geraniums. I grow a lot of these zonal geraniums. And so on this end, we have another raised bed that is just full of zonal geraniums that actually used to be in pots. And I thought, oh, you know me, you guys know me. If you follow my channel, you know I don't enjoy watering by hand, watering pots by hand. And if you see all these little terracotta pots, these were in pots at one time too. So it's like taking me forever. I said, okay, no, for the summer, they're just going to go in this bed. And all I have to do is pull my hose-link hose in the greenhouse and water them in. So really, that's all that we've got going on in here. It's just a great place to hang out. It's loaded with my supplies, my garden supplies. So if you look over here at this little I've got pots there. I've got loads of empty containers from all the things I grew this year and lots of fertilizer. And in fact, speaking of fertilizer, I am intending to do a video completely devoted to how to fertilize all kinds of plants. As a new gardener, it was completely confusing to me. So I've got a lot of people asking me, can you do something about fertilizers for us and teach us a little bit more about how to make your plants healthy and feed them? So that's going to be coming up probably in the next month or so. Not a lot to see in the greenhouse, but we really are so grateful to have it. What I wanted to mention though is a lot of people don't realize how hot greenhouses get. In the summer, if you garden and live somewhere like we do, that gets really hot. It gets really, really hot in here. And so one of the ways to get around that is to put in a shade cloth. This is a 70% shade cloth. My amazing husband installs it for me. So he puts it up in April, and then we'll take it down in September. So it's really only up about half of the year. Of course, in the winter, when there's snow outside, you don't want to shade the greenhouse. You want it to warm up. But if I'm going to be working in here in the summer, I need this shade cloth, and it reduces the internal temperature of the greenhouse by at least 15 degrees of what it would be if I didn't have the shade cloth. The other thing that's really important for greenhouse growers is to have an oscillating fan. Your plants, when they're in the greenhouse, even with an open door and open windows, you still need a lot more airflow. You know, these plants would be outside, right? But because they're not getting the extra wind that they would get if they were planted outside. So oscillating fan is the way to go. All right, let's stop talking about the greenhouse and let's go out to our raised bed garden. Well, here we are in our raised bed garden, and I don't know that I would want to garden any other way than in raised beds. They have wonderful drainage. You can control the soil, the quality of the soil, rather than in the ground. Yeah, I just absolutely love my raised bed garden. We started off many years ago when we moved to this property, and my husband built 2 boxes, this one and the next one, so an 8x4. Well, as we pan around here in just a minute, you're going to see we went from 2 raised beds to 9, plus a vertical garden as well. So I thought what I might do today is I might just first, let's look at the things that I'm happy about that I think have been great this gardening season. And then I want to talk about some misses, some areas of the garden that I definitely want to change next year, and maybe change the way and the place that I'm planting certain crops. Those of you that follow my channel know how much I love growing vegetables, herbs, and flowers all in the same space. There are a lot of great benefits to doing that. When you grow all kinds of flowers and plants together, you attract different kinds of important pollinators and beneficial insects. And in fact, sometimes you get these great beneficial insects coming in to feed on your plants that also can ward off the bad things that might disturb your vegetable crops. So in this bed, this is devoted to cut flowers. And what I've got in here is I have this Celosia flamingo feather. It is not as pink as I wanted. It's not as pink as it was on the seed packet, but I wanted a soft dusty pink to go with. Come in here. I want to show you. I am growing Alpenglow zinnias. This is a floret flower seed, and the beauty of this particular seed is Aaron with Floret Flower Farms has bred all of these flowers. And having done that, you can harvest the seed, which I'm intending to do. I'll do a whole nother video on how to harvest seed. If you look down in here, I also am growing for the very first time feverfew. Aren't these sweet? They make a great little filler. All right, so before it starts raining, we're going to head into the greenhouse. I think in just about 5 seconds, but before it starts raining. All right, dahlias. I'm growing all new dahlias this year. Look at this. This is one of my favorite. This is called Jowie Winnie. Isn't that beautiful? It's a smoky lilac, kind of peachy. I don't know how to describe it. Beautiful. This is Mediterranean. Look at that. I've harvested a lot of those already. Let's go around here. I haven't seen this one open up yet. It's trying to. Let me look at my tag. Oh, lilac thyme. So again, it's not looking perfect because it's not open yet, but it will soon. Let's see. We have several others, but honestly, I'm not going to bother you with these because they're not in bloom yet, but I am hopeful. Well, can you hear the wind chime? That big black cloud is blowing through, but my cute cameraman thinks it's going to blow over. And in fact, he's probably right because it hasn't started raining yet. If it does, we'll be heading into the greenhouse. But I want to show you a super duper win for any garden. If you have a small space, invest in one of these vertical planters. This is a green stalk vertical planter. Okay. I hope you all can hear me. I've got my little fuzzy thing on my mic, so hopefully you won't hear all the wind. But anyways, look at the strawberries. Let's see. So I've got about 24 strawberries planted in here, and I'll just spin this around so you can see all the strawberries. We've had so much fun. I'm growing Seascape ever-bearing strawberries. So that means they pump out strawberries all summer long and they live up to the hype. And then in the top, I've just popped in some marigolds. Again, a great little flower to repel yucky insects. I've got some sad looking sage and some parsley and I think some thyme. So anyhow, but again, I can't say enough good things about this system. If you only have a little patio garden, invest in one of these. We're going to try to carry on despite the wind, and so hopefully you all can hear me. So I want to show you another place in my garden that I'm really proud of that's done great this year. And that would be my raised bed full of pepper plants. I'm growing, I think, 5 or 6 different varieties, from the hot and spicy serranos to jalapenos to anchos to Big Bertha, really big red ones, to, oh, come around here and I'll show you, actually. Cali Wonder. Cali Wonder has a soft spot right there. That's not good. All right. But Cali Wonder has been really prolific this year. And my anchos, look at these. Oh, they are beautiful. So I obviously need to get out here and harvest. I've got the lunchbox variety. Let's take a look at these. So I don't know if you know this or not, but peppers typically develop first on the bottom part of the plant. So you can see the yellow ones are ripe, and I need to come out here after we get done videotaping and harvest all these. And then if you look at the top of the plant, they're more green. Just a few other little tips and tricks that have worked really well for my pepper plants this year. I have not had one insect, no pest on my pepper plants, and I attribute that to a couple of things. I've got my marigolds, I've got parsley, and I have interspersed Mrs. Meyer's lemon basil. So if it looks packed in here, it is. But these herbs are known for repelling bad insects that will harm your plants. And then, of course, here's another variety of the little lunchbox snacking peppers. Let me see if I can pull one off so you can see it. This is sort of a surprise for me, everybody. This is not what I expected, so I don't know what's going on. They're red, but they're like round instead of, you know, pepper shaped. So go figure. But anyways, could not be happier. Now, they're flopping quite a bit. So next year, note to self, I'm going to give them more space, a little bit more space than this, and I will put little tomato cages around them to give them more supports because, you know, like you can see, I don't know, on one of these stems, like I really need to stake this up. I've got some stakes, but I think I need more protection. You all know I am not afraid to try new things. So here's a new thing I'm trying to grow this year. These are tomatillos. Tomatillos is, used in a lot of Mexican cooking for tomatillo salsa and sauces, etc. Oh, hello, little bee. Thank you for pollinating my garden. Um, but don't they look like Chinese lanterns? They're so puffy, but now everybody, since last month, now when I come in here, I can actually feel the fruit inside forming up. When they were first forming up, they were just like, this feels almost hollow. But now some of these bigger ones that have been here longer, I can feel the fruit inside growing. So I think I'm gonna have tomatillos. Here is another bed of ours that have produced and produced. I've got 2 rows of carrots that I'm still harvesting from, but they're almost done. So the great thing about carrots is they can be grown all summer long and they don't take very long to mature. So I am going to finish harvesting these probably in the next week, pull them out, and then I'm going to reseed this section with more carrots because they take maybe 60 days, 50 to 60 days to mature. The other thing I want to highlight in this bed that has done so well for me this year are my leeks. If you want to come in here really close and look, a lot of people don't know what leeks are like, but they have done great. I have harvested from them a lot this summer. In fact, I just posted on social media, I think 2 or 3 days ago, I made a delicious potato and leek soup from the potatoes I grew this year, from these leeks, and some of the herbs in the garden. So these will be harvested pretty soon, and in their place, I will be putting in some cool fall lettuce and spinach crops. They grow fast, they love cool weather, so hoping to have a fall harvest of greens. This bed has been extremely prolific. Swiss chard, still going strong. I'm not harvesting from it much, although I can. The little small leaves, I'll just come in here and show you. Like this size and, oh, this size are about the perfect size for eating raw or putting in smoothies or stir fries, etc. These really big leaves aren't that great, but they are gorgeous. So a lot of people will grow Swiss chard as an ornamental, and I will definitely be growing it again next year. On either side, after I harvested all my lettuce and spinach and arugula early in the spring, I planted these ageratum. Aren't they darling? Just come in here and get a close-up view. They are so pretty in bouquets. Just lovely. I grew all of my ageratum. I started them from seed and then just transplanted the plants out here after I harvested all the greens, which I was done harvesting those about, I don't know, late May, and in went the flowers for the season. So really happy about that. Let's swing around here just really quickly. Here are my cucumbers. I started them from seed a little bit late this year, so as you can see, they're making their way up, but I do think, oh, I spot a couple. Ow, they're pokey. I'm not sure I grew the same variety I did last year. There is a cucumber, so I probably need to harvest that. And on either end, I've got some chives. Let's walk around here real quick to this other side of the archway to show you the other vining crop. Hello, Jerome. Hey, Jerome, can you make the wind settle down? Because if it stays this windy, no one can hear what we're talking about. So green beans, the Seychelles variety. I love them. They're stringless. They're super tender, great for cooking. I got a late start on my green beans, and as you can see, not the best germination. But you know what? I don't care. I'm still going to see what they do. Come in close. I'll show you if you've never grown green beans before. Do you see these flowers right here? So those are all going to turn into green beans. And this one, he's an overachiever. Look at that. I mean, he is just winding up and winding up. Hey, it's always fun to go under your archway. And I just want to show you quickly my gomphrena. This is Carmine. Isn't she a beauty? Gosh, Carmine grows like crazy. I have cut and cut and cut bouquets from Carmine this summer, and she just continues to pump out more blooms. Cut and come again. Those flowers mean the more that you cut, the more they come again, a lot like zinnias. So I need to harvest. As you can see, after we do the video, I'll be coming out here and harvesting a whole lot of flowers and vegetables. The beauty of carmine, gomphrena in particular, is that it dries beautifully. You cut it, remove most of the foliage, turn it upside down, and just hang it. I've got some hanging in my home office, and it's supposed to maintain its beautiful color. All right, so I'm going to show you the one raised bed this year that it's just a meh. It didn't do that great, and I'll tell you why I think it didn't do great and how I'm going to change that next year. Well, this is the bed we've devoted to our tomatoes, and my cherry tomatoes, I'm growing Super Sweet 100s and Sun Gold. They never fail. Like, wow, wow, wow. And in fact, I want you to come in really close, if you don't mind, and just take a look at these. They have just pumped out and pumped out. So this is the Super Sweet 100, the reds, and my Sun Golds are, I'll just pick one for you so you can see the color. It's on the other side. But anyways, delicious, delicious. But truly, I should not have these tomatoes in this bed. I had tomatoes in this bed last year and some in another bed. And actually the recommendation is that plants like tomatoes and peppers need to follow what they call crop rotation, meaning you shouldn't be planting your tomatoes in the exact same spot for 3 or 4 years. You should rotate your crops because they deplete the soil. They also are sometimes susceptible, although I didn't have a big problem this year, to some fungal issues. This really isn't a fungal issue. You would see a lot of black dots on there. And I give credit to no fungal issues because the fungus lives in the soil. And if you come in here really close and look, I put really finely shredded straw as my mulch, really mulched well, so that when it rains, because the drip irrigation is under there, but when it rains, it doesn't hit raw soil and pop that back up onto the leaves. And that's where you introduce fungal issues to your tomato plants. But I really feel like this soil is somewhat depleted. I did top dress with some compost, but I just feel like I need to follow that advice. And so I am going to be really determined this next summer to not grow tomatoes in this bed for another 3 years. So I'm going to figure out a crop rotation plan. For tomatoes, it's also important for peppers, eggplant, so nightshade plants. Yeah. Last on today's walkabout is our pollinator habitat, which is up here behind me, behind the pond, our 2-acre wildlife habitat for beautiful native Missouri plants. But before we head up there, just want you to see it's sprinkling. You can see on the pond the little raindrops. So I don't know, I think we'd better head up there while we still have time and show you what's currently blooming in the pollinator habitat. Just a reminder to everybody that our 2-acre pollinator habitat is in its 4th summer now, and we continue to see flowers and species that we've never seen before. I had no idea that the 26 varieties of native Missouri plants that we sowed from seed, I had no idea that some would lay dormant for so many years, or maybe they were out here and barely above the soil. But this year, some things are popping that I have never seen before. In fact, my husband just spotted this. I think this might be an aster. Now, I am not a native wildflower expert by any means, so those of you that grow natives, especially in the Midwest and Missouri, I think this is maybe a type of aster. I don't know. Leave me a comment. Just came across these beauties tucked in the middle, these purple lilac-y flowers. I think this is a form of milkweed. We have, I think in our seed mix, like 4 to 6 varieties of milkweed. They come in all varieties, which I didn't know. What is popping right now are coreopsis. I will try to put either a picture on the screen now or a video of June's walkabout, because it looked very different in June. Every month it looks different because you have things coming up and going away. From April through October, the garden changes, and it's just been fascinating to notice. We have lots and lots of coneflower or echinacea, and we have many varieties of coneflower. One thing that has gone away that was massively producing a month ago is Rudbeckia or black-eyed Susan. So they've had their time, and so you can see, you know, they're dying back. They're gonna set seed. That's the idea. They're gonna spill their seed, and next summer they're gonna come back like crazy. So I'm seeing a plant that I've not noticed before right now. I've been looking at the foliage, but I didn't know what this is. So here it is, everybody. Take a close look. There's a little patch right here, and maybe this is a type of sunflower. So as you can see, in our neck of the woods, yellows and golds are a very prominent color for a pollinator habitat. So coneflowers and Rudbeckia and Monarda is gone. Monarda is purple. I'm not seeing much of it anymore. Coreopsis. In fact, I don't know if I showed you this, but this is coming on strong right now, and I think this is a variety of Coreopsis. But again, you guys out there that know your pollinator and native species, please leave me your great ideas. I mean, just look at this. I mean, this is an echinacea, I think. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous, gorgeous. So yeah, could not be happier. Well, everybody, we have taken shelter under a cedar tree here by the pond because yeah, it's finally really starting to rain. And so this, I think, is a great time for me to thank you all so much for hanging out with me today on this July Walkabout Part 2. I hope you enjoyed seeing what's growing in the raised bed garden and how I'm continually being surprised by the beauty that our pollinator habitat has created for us here in mid-Missouri. So until next time, I wish everybody happy gardening.